Hello and welcome to Norwood News. Today is Friday, January 26th, and I'm your host, Megan Corbett. In today's top story, Norwood is doing its best to battle the current health epidemic in this country, the flu. This year's flu strain has been the cause of hospitalizations and even death to many people around the country. Here in Norwood, there have been 27 cases that have been diagnosed. For more on the flu epidemic, Norwood News reporter Brian Boudreau sat down with Health Director Sigal Reese.
Now, where would you go to get a flu shot?
Sure, so we offer the flu vaccine. We usually start in October and we usually run out of vaccine by Thanksgiving. So we administered about 600 doses to residents in the fall. We are out of vaccine now, as most health departments are, but it's widely still available at pharmacies or your doctor's office. So even if you haven't gotten it at this point where we are seeing the spike, I do recommend that you get it if you haven't gotten it yet.
Let me ask you this. What are some good practices to avoid the flu?
Yes, so number one, definitely get the vaccine. But like we just discussed, it's not completely 100% effective. There are things that you can do to protect yourself. Hand washing is a very simple way. Proper hand washing as often as possible to protect yourself not only against the flu but other communicable diseases that transfer from people to people. The flu is actually airborne, so when people, it can transmit through a sneeze or a cough. So we encourage people to cover their sneezes and coughs, either if you do use your hands in a tissue to wash your hands and sanitize, or the cough into the sleeve,
right,
which has gotten to be a lot more popular these days. So washing your hands, cough and sneeze etiquette, we call it, and also staying home when you're sick. So you might already be sick, but we were worried again on the population level that we don't want to transmit that disease. So if you do have a fever or you're not feeling well, we encourage people to stay home, and we encourage employers to allow employees to stay home when they're sick.
Absolutely.
The other last thing would just be, avoiding large gatherings. If you do have complications in your immune system or where the flu might be more serious for you, avoid large gatherings during the flu season when it's widespread like it is now.
Absolutely. Sigal, I thank you for coming down and taking the time, and back to the desk.
Thanks, Brian, and thank you to Sigal and everyone at the Norwood Health Department for keeping this town healthy. Earlier this week, the Neponset Valley Chamber of Commerce had its 124th annual meeting with keynote speaker Jay Ash. Jay Ash is the Secretary of the Executive Office of the House and Development for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. He reported on the state of business in Massachusetts.
And yet, as I got up at the State of the Commonwealth, what seemed like 20 times, and looked around at people that the governor was recognized, I saw Republicans and Democrats standing up and applauding. And it just reinforced what John has talked about, and Mike has helped in the Senate, other legislators representing Neponset Valley have done. We're all finding a way to work together. I mean, some of the greatest things we do here is we export great ideas and great people. Together, we have great ideas about public service, and it'd be great to be able to export those to other places, because we've all figured out how important it is to work together. So as John indicated, I'm a Democrat, was involved in Democratic politics. The governor calls me up, or then governor-elect, he says, Jay, I want you to be a member of my cabinet. And so I said to him, Governor, you do know that I've campaigned against Republicans in my life, don't you? And he says, yeah, I know that. And I said, you do know that I may have done a dastardly thing or two during those campaigns to Republicans? And he said, yeah, I know that, but we're about selecting the right people, and we want you to be part of the team. And so I gladly accepted. I've known and admired Governor Baker for 25 years as a practical, no-nonsense, get-it-done kind of guy. So I was thrilled to join the cabinet. But I was sure, because I know about these things, I was sure that I was going to get some sort of orientation. Right? Somebody's got to teach me how to be a Republican administrator. I've been a Democrat for 50 years.
Last week, the Norwood Fire and Police Department rushed into action when they received a call about a car crash on Route 1. When the first responders arrived on the scene, they found a Dodge Ram flipped on its side on the southbound side of Route 1 near Rojo's. In the truck was 98.5 The Sports Hub and Patriots pregame radio host Mark Bertrand. Norwood Fire used the jaws of life to extract him from the vehicle with only minor injuries. Mark thanked Norwood Fire and Police on his Facebook page. Town of Norwood employees received some unexpected news last week concerning their health insurance. The Group Insurance Commission announced that they would be seeking to remove Tufts, Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare, and Fallon on July 1st. The GIC is a state agency appointed by the governor that provides and administers health insurance to state and town employees. Town Manager Tony Mazzucco spoke to the selectmen about this issue during Tuesday's meeting.
The GIC did make a statement, did make an announcement on Friday, or I should say it was announced in the press. I don't necessarily think it was a formal GIC announcement, that they're going to be changing our health plans for most of our employees. So about 3/4 of our employees are going to have to change their health plans, and we don't know what the look of the new plans is exactly going to be, co-pays, deductibles, etc. So we're a little shocked and saddened that the GIC took that step, and there was apparently not a lot of notice given to anyone. I think the governor was even unaware that was happening. So that's a big change that we're going to be going through over the course of the year with our employees. It should have an impact on the budget. It may mean a lower increase. I would certainly hope if they're forcing this onto most of our staff that there'd be some sort of savings, but remains to be seen. But it'll be a change to about 75% of our subscribers. What's particularly frustrating is we actually still have not received official notice from the GIC. No letter went out, no documentation has gone out saying this is exactly what's going to change. People just essentially Friday found out that, you know, most towns, a half to 3/4 of their employees would have to change health insurance. And they're saying that some people may be able to keep their doctors, or most people should, but on the one hand, we've all heard that one before. On the other hand, it's no comfort when we don't know for sure.
The GIC has been criticized by the way the announcement was handled by Governor Baker, calling it very poor. Massachusetts Attorney General Maura Healey stated that the GIC's vote to limit health care options was seriously mishandled and launched an investigation into whether this decision violated the state's open meeting law. It was announced by the GIC that after candid feedback, it will reconsider its vote at their February 1st meeting. Stay tuned after this break to learn more about what is happening in local government and the schools.
Norwood Challenger Sports is comprised of friends and families of individuals with special needs and disabilities who have banded together to provide recreational opportunities for youth and young adults. The organization was created in the early 1990s by a few parents seeking to create an opportunity for their children to play baseball, and it has grown over the years to also include flag football, cheering, basketball, and special events. Our coaches are mainly parent volunteers, but we welcome siblings, friends, and local high school students. We are non-competitive and strive to make our activities a fun experience. We provide skill-building activities in a supportive atmosphere, and our players enjoy the combination of physical activity, social interaction, and a sense of camaraderie. For more information, visit www.challengersports.org.
Norwood Public Access is excited to announce our new mobile site where users can watch live streams of all 3 channels and watch programs on demand. Users can watch NPA TV anytime, anywhere, and share links with family and friends. You may also access NPA TV's schedules and search NPA's library of programs. We are excited to provide new ways to experience all public access television has to offer. NPA is proud to be your home for all things Norwood.
Welcome back to Norwood News. On Monday, the Board of Health met to discuss the various topics regarding the Norwood Health Code. The board had 4 public meetings to talk about outdated food at Norwood establishments and a brief report about the status of flu in Norwood. On Tuesday night, the Board of Selectmen met with department heads to commence budget hearings. It was a long night for the board, hearing from 8 departments, including Town Clerk and Accountant, Computer Department, Recreation, Public Works, Light and Broadband, Police and Fire, and General Manager. The next Board of Selectmen meeting will be Tuesday, January 30th. On Wednesday night, the school committee met to discuss multiple topics. There was a brief discussion about the preliminary budget, and then the conversations shifted to the superintendent's evaluation. Committee member Michelle Mullen expressed her displeasure with the process.
Together, as a group, decide on how we wanted the composite evaluation done. What do we agree to have in it? And I don't believe that I don't recall that we, as a group, talked about how is Maev going to go about doing this composite evaluation. I don't believe opinions should be censored. At this point, I feel like the process was flawed, and I believe we need to fix it.
After an hour of deliberating, the committee voted to table the superintendent evaluation, pending further discussion with the Massachusetts Association of School Committees. On Thursday night, the Permanent Building and Construction Committee met to discuss town hall renovations in St. Gabriel's Chapel at Highland Cemetery. The bids for renovation came back higher than expected for the work to be done at the chapel.
All right, next item on the agenda is an update on the bids for the chapel that came in yesterday. There was a little bit of a problem with those. They came in a little high, like about $350,000 too high.
That's the low bid. One of them was up in
1.8.
500,000.
There were 5 bids, and they went up about $100,000 apiece to get that highway.
That was interesting.
We only have about $1,056,000 to spend. The low bid was $1,386,800. Conveniently enough, on January 11th, the FinCom sent me a request for an update on this and whether we were going to get any more money. I told them I was going to tell them on the 25th. I told them on the 25th. So they have a meeting coming up next week, I think, and as soon as I figure out when that is,
February 5th.
February 5th, I plan to be at that meeting, and I'm going to ask them for $350,000.
To watch the full government meetings, tune into MPA TV's government channel or go to mpatv.org. Stay tuned after this break to learn more about what is happening around town. Welcome back. The Norwood Public Schools have been very busy with events. For more information, we will toss it to our Norwood school reporter, Tim Rose.
Hi guys, thanks for joining me for another update on events and activities happening around our Norwood school community. The Coakley Middle School recently held their GeoBeat, and this year's winner was Ryan Kane, who is an 8th grader on the blue team. Congratulations to Ryan and to all the students who made it to the finals. The CMS also had Pajama Day, and Principal Dr. Margot Frasek was cozy and comfortable and said she was contemplating collecting data on the effectiveness of pajamas on educational outcomes. At Norwood High, the NHS Student Council sponsored Norwood High School's Got Talent, a variety show of our student body's diverse range of talents. Audience members cast votes for the winning act, and this year's winner was Ashley Gomez. Looking ahead to next week, the Fine Arts Department will host their Lollapalooza concert Thursday, February 1st at 7 p.m. This choral concert that features performances by elementary, middle school, and high school students. The Cleveland School Student Council collected toys over the holidays and created a mitten tree for the less fortunate. As I look at all these toys collected under the tree, I'm sure they brought smiles to many children. The Cleveland is piloting the Lego Story Starter writing program in the 2nd grade. They are incorporating the Seesaw app to enable students to document their Lego structures and writing pieces and share them to their digital portfolio. Seesaw allows students to document their learning and gives families an immediate and personalized window into their child's school day. I'm impressed that this is happening at the 2nd grade. At the Balch School, Mrs. Lockwood from the Norwood Science Center used the Van de Graaff generator in Mrs. Kerr's 3rd grade class. This teaching tool was first built in 1929, and students learned that the generator demonstrates static electricity. It looks like it was a hair-raising experience. The Callahan School is combining Super Bowl fever with community service. Next week, they will be collecting for the Norwood Food Pantry project called the Super Bowl. Please help out and drop off canned goods, jars of food, and packaged food. For extra motivation, the grade that brings in the most items will be treated to a popsicle party. The George F. Willett Early Childhood Center will be having their kindergarten registration from February 12th to 16th from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. and Tuesday, February 13th, and Thursday, February 15th from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. It is very important that parents and guardians register their child at this time. In order to be eligible for kindergarten in September of 2018, a child must be 5 years old on or before August 31st of 2018. At Prescott School, the 1st grade had a visit from the Museum of Science and their Digging for Dinosaurs exhibition. Students were allowed to handle a mix of real fossils from a variety of plants and animals. Students also worked in groups to make simple excavations using the techniques and tools of a paleontologist. The 2nd through 5th graders had a presentation on electromagnetism. Students viewed and participated in demonstrations of electromagnetism as a force and way to store energy. They got to explore the magnetic properties of different kinds of materials and to see the relationship between electricity and magnetism. The scientist from the museum was very impressed with our students' science knowledge. Thanks, Norwood Science Center. Well, that's it for school news. For more information around the district, please check the website, Facebook, and watch NPA TV. As always, thanks so much for your continued support of our school community. Now let's go to Mike Maloof with the latest Norwood sports news.
Thanks, Tim. I'm Mike Maloof, and this is your sports update. It's been a busy week for the Mustangs. Kicked it all off on Tuesday when the boys and girls basketball teams took on Brookline. It was a hard-fought game, but the boys came up just short in the end. The girls, on the other hand, came away with a 45-32 victory. The girls also hosted their Faculty Appreciation Night.
We are holding a Faculty Appreciation Night for the girls basketball team, where the varsity team each invited one faculty member who has had a positive impact on their life. We had done our first one last year, and the girls really loved it, so we ended up doing it again this year. And it's just a great way for the girls and the teachers to be able to see each other in a different light.
Yeah, I think the whole varsity team and the program is very excited. We've done it a lot since Coach Leps has been here, and it's just something that we always look forward to give back to the teachers.
Yeah, they love their teachers, and they were really excited to be able to have the choice of which one really has impacted them.
It's important as an educator to support students outside of the classroom and doing what they love. And for Emma Maturo, who asked me to be here tonight, basketball is one of her passions and something that she shared with me from one of the first days of school as one of her goals. And being here to support her really means a lot to me, and I think it's going to mean a lot to her.
I would just like to say that even though sometimes kids can be really mean, we actually do appreciate you.
Honestly, it means the world. I think that a lot of times, students may come in and come out and not really, or at least faculty don't always feel appreciated. And it's so nice to say, hey, you know what, we are thinking of you. You're not this little robot in front of us. You're actually real people, and we appreciate what you do.
Like I said, I think it's really great for the girls to be able to see the teachers in a different light, and the teachers to be able to see the girls do something that they really love and compete in athletics and just see them outside the classroom, because I think it makes that relationship that much stronger.
I just think that a lot of things that the teachers do just go unnoticed. Yeah, it is their job, but they always go above and beyond, and I know the girls on the team and we all have different connections with different teachers, and it's kind of just nice to say, hey, your hard work's going.
On Wednesday, the hockey teams both faced off against Brookline. The boys showed their offensive ability with a 5-2 victory, while the girls snuck away with the 2-1 win with a late goal by freshman Kayla Clifford. And on Thursday, the gymnastics team beat Brookline Westwood, improving their record to 5-2. During the meet, Brian Boudreau caught up with the gymnastics captains.
Hi, this is Brian Boudreau reporting for Sports Extra. We're at Broderick Gymnastics over at the Walpole Mall. I'm joined now with Amanda and Charlotte. They're actually competing tonight. Actually, Amanda just competed. Who are you playing tonight? Brookline?
Brookline Westwood.
Brookline Westwood. Okay. So how do you think you did?
I did pretty good. I kind of messed up on my second one, but
that's all right. That happens. So if I'm correct, you're 3-2 now?
Yeah.
Okay. Charlotte, what is it that you compete in again?
I compete beam, floor, and bars.
Beam, floor, and bars. Okay. And do you guys have any personal goals you'd like to meet this season?
We've been working on a lot of skills lately, and it's been good because it's been bringing up our difficulty as a team, so it gives us more points.
Okay.
Yeah, just getting more skills to help our score.
That's all for our sports update. Now we'll head back to the desk.
Thanks, Mike. January is Carbon Monoxide Awareness Month, and to learn more about the different things you can do to prevent carbon monoxide poisoning, we go to Brian Boudreau, who sat down with Chief Anthony Gurley of the Norwood Fire Department.
Many homes have fossil fuels. The only home that doesn't have a fossil fuel is that is heated by electricity. In other words, it's electric baseboard. There's nothing burning. It just comes through the power lines.
Right.
That's a home that does not have a fossil fuel. Those are few and far between. The typical home that you and I probably live in, and I know that I do, what kind of a heating?
We have gas.
You have gas,
Natural gas.
as I do too.
Okay.
But many homes are heated by oil.
Right.
Some homes are heated by propane. We're heated by natural gas off the street grid. That is a fossil fuel. So what happens is, how does it get into our home? Well, there's a few different ways. Our heating systems are typically in the basement of our home, correct?
Correct.
Right. And when the natural gas that comes into your home and my home burn, creates a flame which heats the hot water which is circulated through the home. But the combustion chamber where the gas is being burned, the natural gas being burned, is typically piped out through the chimney and excavated up through the chimney out into the atmosphere, right? Where do we have problems? When that chimney becomes occluded, becomes blocked, the gas is going to burn, but it can't evacuate the home. What's it going to do? It's going to back up into the house. If it can't go up, it's going to come back down and go out. So the products of combustion all of a sudden are going to be in the home. Now remember that carbon monoxide is a colorless and odorless gas. A lot of times it can't be detected by a human being until the symptoms come on. The symptoms, if you and I were being poisoned by natural gas right now, slowly we would get flu-like symptoms except for no fever. We would feel drowsy, sleepy, get a headache, and because essentially you're being robbed of oxygen, even though you're breathing it, because there's still going to be oxygen in the air. The carbon monoxide that clings to the blood in the body, it will not allow the oxygenated blood to go to the muscle, the tissue, specifically your brain. We need oxygen in our brain. Just think about holding your breath. And you hold your breath, you're not allowing oxygen into your brain. You get lightheaded. That's how you feel when you get carbon monoxide poisoning. And that's why you lose judgment if you say that you're sleeping at home and your heating system is failing because of a blocked flue and it's backing up into your home. You have a possibility of not waking up. But how do we combat that? I'm guessing that you're going to have a question. How do we combat that in the home?
Yes.
A carbon monoxide detector.
Right.
Right.
Thank you for the great information, Chief. Last week, the Orient Lodge of Masons hosted their annual Tony Awards. NHS freshman Kayla Clifford filed the report.
On Monday, January 15th, the Orient Lodge of Masons held their 48th annual Tony Awards in the historic Orient Lodge building on Day Street. 38 students who are Norwood residents and attend Norwood High School, Bishop Feehan High School, and Severian Brothers High School were nominated for this year's prestigious award. David Laurent was the Master of Ceremonies, and the guest speaker was Claudia Mackey, the Executive Director of the Food Pantry. Once nominated, the students submit an essay on the topic of community service. The essays are then read and rated by judges. Congratulations to this year's 10 outstanding Norwood youths, and also to the winners of the Joe Pierce Scouting Award and the Father Robert Dwyer Memorial Award.
Thank you to the Norwood Masons for all you do for the town of Norwood. Thanks so much for watching this episode of Norwood News. I'm your host, Megan Corbett. To stay up to date with MPA TV, check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And now we leave you with our featured picture of the week from Steve Palinskar. Have a great weekend.